Hello and welcome to Firstpost. Through the week, you're inundated with the news, the heavy-duty kinds. So we thought we'd change tack and get you something different. So welcome to Beyond Bizarre, the odd, the offbeat, the outlandish news that didn't make it to the headlines. Let's start with oil. It can solve some of our most hairy problems, pardon the pun. But now, human hair can return the favor. It might solve some oil problems at a paradise island. What are we talking about? Take a look. Just look at these pictures. Seems like heaven on earth, doesn't it? This is the Palawan province of the Philippines. It's known for clear turquoise waters and white sand beaches. Picture yourself floating through its underground river or swimming in its hidden lagoons. But wait, what's that? Is that oil creeping up your nose? Does everything stink everywhere all at once? We only mean to say, don't go on booking your flight tickets just yet. Because here's what's happening in Palawan. The island's pristine beaches have been coated with industrial fuel. Its residents have been hit by fever and dizziness. The MT Princess Empress tanker sank on February 28th. It was carrying 800,000 liters of industrial fuel when it went down.
The possible location of the sunken oil tanker MT Princess Empress has been detected by the ship of the National Mapping and Resources Information Authority, or NAMRIA, the BRP hydrographer Ventura.
Since then, it's discharged tens of thousands of liters of oil into the waters. It's become one of the region's worst ever disasters. Authorities declared it a state of calamity for 9 towns. They've banned swimming and fishing, and the oil slick has traveled almost 300 kilometers. But the residents aren't willing to suffer in stinky, grimy silence. They've taken it upon themselves to stop the oil from washing onto the shore. And they have an odd weapon of choice. They're arming themselves with, wait for it, human hair. They've been collecting hair from barbershops. And what will residents do with this, you ask? They're stuffing it into fishing nets, using them as makeshift oil containment booms. Simply put, these booms are temporary floating barriers. They can contain oil spills. They keep the oil concentrated, especially in the thicker surface layers. This controls the spread of oil. And why are the residents actively trying to solve this hairy problem? Because the island is a major tourist magnet. It's targeting tourist arrivals of around 4.8 million this year. But the more the oil spreads, the bigger the hit tourism would take. It goes without saying that no one wants a surprise oil lathering attack. The spill is also threatening endangered species like whale sharks, hawksbill turtles, and manta rays. But remember, this is not the first time that hair has been used to sop up an oil slick. Last year, Thailand and Peru used hair for oil cleanups. Back in 2010, hair was the hero of an oil spill cleanup in the Gulf of Mexico. These are just 3 of many examples. Commercial booms are usually made of plastic, but another source for makeshift booms is often on the floor of salons. Don't you just hate it when your hair gets greasy quickly? I mean, didn't you just shampoo yesterday? But it's this very quality that's helpful during oil spills, because hair adheres to oil quite efficiently. It can soak up about 5 times its weight in oil, and people across the world have donated their hair for this task. Salons across the world are part of oil containment drives. And this solves 2 environmental problems with every haircut. 99% of hair cuttings are sent to landfills every year. Only 1% of them are recycled. Pollution from hair waste and oil spills are hair-raising issues. So if they can be used against each other to curb the damage, we say, What an uncanny but useful entanglement. Japan's notorious Yakuza, gangsters, and road rage. The combination sounds believable, right? But wait, we might be talking about something different. As ironic as it sounds, crime syndicates in Japan are under attack. They're being taken off the roads. And call it typical Yakuza behavior, but they aren't going down without a fight. They're taking the authorities to court. Here's a report. Is the heavily tattooed Muramasa sword-armed world of Japanese crime upside down? It sure feels that way. The Yakuza gangsters have launched a legal fight. They're taking road operators to court. Why is this happening? Because of a decision to scrap all cash-only toll booths. They're being replaced with an e-payment system. The Japanese government wants to keep mobsters off the motorways. Japan requires electronic toll collection personal cards to zip past the cashless gates, and companies are toughening rules here as well. Users related to crime syndicates cannot acquire the cards. Mobsters are literally being taken off the roads in Japan. But in typical Yakuza behavior, they've decided to put up a fight till the end. After all, does being part of a crime cartel mean you have to stay off the roads? How on earth are you going to go indulge in criminal activities then? Yakuza are saying they don't feel guilty driving on an expressway. They aren't doing anything criminal during that time. But what happens before and after their commute? Well, it's nothing too serious. Just a few murders here and there, maybe some human trafficking and extortion. And for the Yakuza, this is probably the last straw. Japan has strict anti-mafia rules. They were introduced in 2011. They prohibit the Yakuza from accessing a slew of services, like opening bank accounts, signing property contracts, and even entering golf courses. Whether this new decision on roadways is fair or not is up for debate in the court. After all, expressways are public properties, and it's built with taxpayers' money. Sure, some of those taxpayers might take a Yakuza knife to the chest, but what can you do? They say honesty pays, but how about $30 million? Now, honesty does sound like the best policy, am I right? What are we talking about? That's how much lost cash Japanese citizens handed in to the police. It broke records. Our next report tells you more. Honesty is great, no doubt. And when it leads to some of that cha-ching, it's even better. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Last year, the honest citizens of Tokyo made a record. They handed in about $30 million in lost cash to the police. $30 million in just Tokyo. It beat the previous high of $28 million from 2019. And the police, they were just as honest, at least according to reports. Those who misplaced their money got some relief. They got about $22 million back. While those who did the honorable thing and gave the cash they discovered to the police got about $3 million. The Japanese are known for their enduring attachment to hard cash, so it's fairly common for them to misplace it. In fact, the cases rise during the cherry blossom season, thanks to copious amounts of alcohol. But most of the cash is returned. Kudos to Japan's lost goods law. Those who find money and hand it in get a reward of about 5 to 20% if it's retrieved by the owner. If the cash is not claimed within 3 months, the entire sum goes to the finder, unless they're a public service worker. Then the government gets to keep the money. And the rules seem pretty straightforward. But there's a big question that follows. How does the police know the claimants are not lying? Look at this case. The police is trying to locate the owner of cash worth $76,000. 13 people have said the money was theirs. And the police have until April to find the real owner of the cash. If not, then the government gets to enjoy the cha-ching. Now, let's talk about dieting. It has many benefits, but here's some food for thought. What's the sure way to lose weight? Just starve yourself. At least, that's what Gwyneth Paltrow's advice sounds like. The American actor has revealed her diet plan, and the internet is not having it. You know there's a problem when colonoscopy prep sounds like a better idea than your diet. Actor Gwyneth Paltrow has given the skinny on her so-called wellness routine, and the viewers are aghast. She detailed her meticulous daily routine in a recent podcast, and it's gone viral. Her first meal, if you can call it that, is at noon. It's bone broth. She calls it soup, while most of the internet disagrees. She then has an early dinner with lots of veggies. Paltrow exercises for an hour between the meals. Some viewers said they're losing calories just by hearing about this. Others are calling her an almond mum. It's a derogatory term. It refers to middle-aged women who are obsessed with thinness and fad diets and eat very little. She's also being blasted for disordered eating under the cloak of a celebrity diet fad. She's being criticized for promoting under-eating. After the controversy, she defended herself. She says the diet has worked for her, but it doesn't mean that it'll work for everyone. As true as that may be, dietitians say it can barely work for anyone since it's restricted eating. Experts say middle-aged women require anywhere between 1800 to 2200 calories a day. And this diet nowhere near fits that criteria. This debate raises some serious questions. Celebrities often popularize fad diets, but most of these diets can do more harm than good. So before jumping on trendy diets, we should ask ourselves if they'll really benefit us. Is shedding a few extra pounds worth the health risks? And do we really want bone broth turning us into an army of skeletons? That's it on this edition of Beyond Bazaar. We'll be back next week with news that's anything but basic.